welcome back to Brain Dev Adventures. So in today's video, I am going to be showing you or telling you guys 10 tips that I have for AP classes or just high school in general. These tips can probably also apply to like middle schoolers. Not all of them though, because I do want to focus this sort of on AP classes and kind of share with you guys what I've learned from this past year from taking my first two AP classes as a sophomore. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get right on into the video. For those of you who are wondering, I took AP Biology and AP US History. So yeah, the first tip that I have is to plan out ahead of time what you will be studying for each day before your test or quiz. So yeah, or even the AP exam. So I probably should have done more of this, but you can either do this in your head or write out like a schedule using either an agenda book or a calendar or something like that. And this can vary for like all the different AP classes, obviously, but you want to plan out just a little bit of what you're going to do to prepare for your test each day, because if you decide to cram everything in one night before the test, it is not going to go down well for you and you're going to just get super stressed out. So it's great to keep yourself organized and study in small increments each time just so you don't get overwhelmed. My second tip is to watch YouTube videos about a review for your test or unit, or just topics from the unit that you don't understand. I will kind of tell you guys about AP Bio and APUSH. For APUSH, I definitely 100% recommend watching Heimler's History. I love his videos and they're so informative, and he makes them for every single unit and all the topics, so definitely recommend. And for AP Biology, I just recommend searching up like Unit 1 review, Unit 6 review, whatever unit, and watching like the longer unit review videos and actually making sure to pay attention to everything that is being said, because most of the time everything that is said in those videos will be very important. Number 3 is probably one of the most important tips on here, and it is to practice. And this is like the most helpful thing, because the more multiple choice problems you do, like practice problems, the better prepared you'll be for both the tests, quizzes, and the AP exam, of course. I'm pretty sure every single AP exam has multiple choice. I could be wrong. I don't really know much about other AP courses, but I love doing practice multiple choice questions for every single unit before my test. For biology, I did them on albert.io, I think the website was. They have great questions there if your teacher allows you to. Obviously, AP Classroom has the best questions because those are the ones that are going to be most similar to the actual AP exam questions, but you can always also look up past like practice multiple choice questions from different websites. So if you don't have access to that, you can always get some good practice problem books, and I'll get into those a little bit later, but those are always good. And it's also great to practice your FRQs, free response questions, or any other essays. Like for APUSH, I had to do long essay questions, short essay questions, DBQs. Always great to practice those, especially if you have one coming up, and especially for the AP exam. There's like a ton of past FRQs that you can look up for both Bio and APUSH that I know of, and I'm sure they have similar ones for other AP classes as well. Number 4 is pretty simple, but it's just don't procrastinate or think something like, I'll just wing it, you know? Because if you do that, then there's definitely something psychological about it, but you will just automatically not study as much if you think that, as opposed to when you think like, oh, I should definitely prepare for this more because I don't know this well enough or something like that. Because the more you procrastinate, the more you're going to feel overwhelmed after you're done procrastinating, and it's just not a good cycle at all. So just please guys, promise me you won't procrastinate. Number 5 is to make a list of the topics that you're having the most trouble with. This one is super helpful. You can either do this mentally or physically on paper. What's really helpful for me, since usually AP units are super long, it's just a bunch of information. I just go through like the notes I took and stuff like that, or even for like a push, for example, since it's more like events in chronological order, I just try to tell the story back to myself about all the events in the period. And I know that could be a lot, especially with all of the minor details and stuff like that, but trust me, it is so helpful. And once you can actually teach something, it's more likely that you'll do better on the test and retain that information. Tip number 6 is to purchase practice books that give summaries of each unit. So a few of these that I love, and I'll actually show you guys where I keep them, but I always use the Princeton Review one, the Barron's one, and also Cliff Notes, which might sound surprising, but that one is pretty good too. I use the biology one for that, but I'll go over and show you guys a little bit about those. But they're just amazing because they have full, like, some of them have like 10 full-length practice AP exams, which is so helpful. And they also have like summaries of every single unit, like in-depth summaries, so you can go through and look at any bolded terms that you don't understand and just go right back over it. I forget which book, but one of them definitely is really organized and has a bunch of bolded terms and stuff like that. Here's just where I keep my books. They're all right here. Here's the Princeton Review one. Super nice. And then this is the Barron's one, and then the Cliff Notes one. And then down here we have another Princeton Review, Barron's, and that's just my textbook. But yeah, those are all of my AP books. Yeah. Oh yeah, I also have this one, Crash Course. Not as good as the other ones, but still pretty helpful. Number 7 is to make note outlines, note sheets of each chapter or unit beforehand, or of either the textbook, like what you're reading in the textbook, or when your teacher gives lectures about different topics. This one is super helpful. I'll start with my biology class. So my teacher, for every single topic or topics within a unit, she would go over a slideshow presentation that she either made or got off of the web and just explain everything in it. And I just found it super helpful to try to really understand what she was saying while she was talking, or even if I didn't understand it, it's still really helpful to write it down and make organized notes. And I can make a whole separate video about like my notes and how they look and how to take good notes in AP classes if you guys want me to, so make sure to comment that down below. But yeah, that's just super helpful. And then for my A-Push class, my teacher would sometimes do like slideshow presentations of notes as well, but usually for history it's a lot more like reading and not diagrams and stuff like that, so I just found it easier to make note outlines of the textbook. I used the AMSCO textbook and Give Me Liberty in the beginning of the year for A-Push, but yeah, that was probably more helpful for me. Number 8 is to prioritize your studies and homework over less important activities. This one's pretty generic, so for any school, whatever grade you're in, it's always important to make sure you put in order your homework or studying that you have to do that is most important all the way to the least important, and do it in that order. Just because you want to do something because it's like easier or more fun to do than another thing doesn't mean that you should do that first. So I should really listen to this tip as well, because I can sometimes put less important things first, such as math homework, just to get it over with. But if you have like a really important test tomorrow, you need to make sure you study for that test and make sure you're good. And of course, once you're good, it's fine to do other homework as well. Number 9 is pretty simple. Just get together with friends to study, create a study group. Those are always super fun. I should definitely do more of this. I feel like I probably work better alone when I'm studying, to be honest, just because I focus better. Like, even when I'm around my family and study, it takes away from like really getting into the studying zone. So whenever like I'm in my room and alone, it's better. But if you're the type of person that loves to study with friends, make sure to get yourself a really good friend group. It doesn't have to be people you're already friends with, just like people in your AP class that you want to get together with. Especially for AP classes, I think it's really beneficial to have that, because you guys can bounce ideas off of each other and just study and help each other out to study for the test. So yeah. And finally, the last tip number 10, is to not spend more time stressing out about studying than actually doing it. And what I mean by this is, if you say you make your plan of how much you're going to study each day and what you're going to study, or even when you're in the middle of doing that plan, you don't want to think too much about it before you actually get into it. If you spend like half the day planning out what you're going to do and you still don't have much time left, you should probably just stop and actually get to studying. I am guilty for this sometimes as well. Sometimes I'd go on YouTube for too long and then I realize, oh shoot, I should really get to studying. Don't do that. Make sure that you just get your mind focused and ready to study and just do it. Because once you start doing it, most of the time, it'll be a lot easier than you think. So yeah guys, those were my 10 studying tips, and I guess they were pretty much geared towards AP classes, so sorry if you were looking for like a more generic video. I could do another one of those as well, like things I learned from high school from my sophomore year. If you guys want me to, I can always do that. But if you enjoyed this video and found these tips helpful, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. It always helps me out. Also, subscribe to my channel to see more fun videos like this one. And once you've done that, click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. And you can also comment down below any video suggestions or anything you want. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!